Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuthapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Bisaka Anvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brinda Bhaneswari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from chapter 17, text 45, canto 1. The verse goes like this. Ittam bhutanubhavoyam avumanyosto nrupaha yasya palayata kshaunim yuyum satraya dikshitaha. Ittam bhutanubhavoyam avimanyo suto nrupaha yasya palayata kshaunim yuyum satraya dikshitaha. Synonyms. Ittam bhuta, being thus, anubhava, experience, I am of this, avimanyu sataha, son of Avimanyu, nrupaha, the king, yasya, whose, palayataha, on account of his ruling, shaunim, on the earth, yam, you all, satraya, in performing sacrifices, dikshitaha, initiated. Translation. Maharaj Parshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. Purport. The Brahmanas and Sannyasis are expert in the spiritual advancement of society, whereas Kshatriyas or the administrators are expert in the material peace and prosperity of human society. Both of them are the pillars of all happiness, and therefore they are meant for full cooperation for common welfare. Maharaj Parshit was experienced enough to drive away Kali from his field of activities and thereby make the state receptive to spiritual enlightenment. If the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, the basic principles of religion, prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge. And Maharaj Parshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus, the rishis of Naimisharanya were able to perform the sacrifices for 1,000 years. In other words, without state support, no doctrines or philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas for this common good. Even after Maharaj Ashoka, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashoka, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali. So far, the discussion is still going on to hear and learn about the activities of King Parikshit. So we heard about his birth and his pre-qualifications in the text, chapter 13, which is birth of Emperor, chapter 12, birth of Emperor Parikshit. So where the when Jata Karma, when what is it Jata Karma called? It is called astrology. When they were doing astrological charts for King Parikshit, when he was a small baby, the Brahmanas glorify his qualities, many qualities of how Parikshit Maharaj will exemplify the previous great personalities. For example, so some glimpse goes like this in chapter 12. The Brahmanas say, they say this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born, and for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise. He shall be exactly like Rama, the personality of Godhead, son of Maharaj Dasharatha. And in terms of charity and protector of surrender, he'll be like King Sibi of Usinara country. And in expanding the name and fame of the family, he'll be like Bharat, the son of Maharaj Dushyanta. Whereas when it comes to fighting, as a great bowman, he'll be like Arjuna, and irresistible as a fire and unsurpassable as ocean, and he'll be as strong as a lion, worthy shelters the Himalayas, and so on. So all his qualities are explained, and further his ruling, we also got a glimpse of his ruling, so much so that he is able to confront Kali Purusha. Actually, Kali Purusha entered right when Yudhishthira Maharaj was there, even before he became the king, right? The previous chapters, in the chapter 10, departure of Lord Krishna, not 10, sorry, disappearance of Lord Krishna, chapter 14. So Yudhishthira Maharaj sees all the anomalies and he fears. He shares with Bhima. It looks like Krishna has left. So I see the effects of Kali, and Gopal Hari Prabhu was explaining. He saw the effects of Kali starting with two things. One is quarrel among the family members. The other one is dogs barking, something like that. Yeah. So Kali already started as soon Krishna disappeared. So basically the idea is that we have 4 ages: Satyuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Our current age is called Kali, which goes for 432,000 years. And it started just 5,000 years ago, which also equates the time Krishna left the planet. When Krishna was on the planet, Kali Yuga could not enter. But soon after Krishna left. As you know, how the sun goes away, the darkness comes. Similarly, Kali Purusha entered. So the qualities of the Kali is that age of quarrel. There will be quarrel everywhere. Okay, quarrel everywhere. But by bringing God consciousness, the age of quarrel can be not only mitigated, but actually one can transcend a situation actually, that by bringing the God consciousness. So Parshit Maharaj, when he starts ruling the kingdom, he was ruling so gloriously, but he comes to know there is some infiltration is happening. And then he personally, as a qualified ruler he is, he didn't send any of his subordinates or someone. He went to the situation personally. And during this travel, we also came to know how he was ruling, how he was conducting the rule. How he was conducting the rule was that he always staying absorbed in Krishna, in the glories of Krishna and his devotees. We heard that when the Brahmanas were narrating the glories of the Pandavas and Krishna, his heart was overflowing, like he was becoming so pleased, so much he was giving so much charity to them with great happiness. So through that connection, he is able to get into a position of trance and meets Kali Purusha and Dharma and Mother Earth. Mother Earth in the form of cow, Dharma in the form of bull, and Kali Purusha in the form of a Sudra person. He meets, and we went through long stories of how he confronts them, and he was about to kill Kali Purusha actually. That's also important thing to note there. When he was about to kill Kali Purusha takes shelter of King Parikshit. So the qualified king is supposed to give shelter to anyone who takes shelter. Then he leaves them off, and then Kali Purusha asks for places to live. And then Parikshit Maharaj says, you can go on, stay at the 4 places wherever these 4 things are happening. One is gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, and what is it? Illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. I'm forgetting the 4th one.
Meat eating.
Meat eating. Yeah. So basically, what it means is that wherever there is this meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling is happening, that's the fastest way to get the sins to become irreligious. And when these 4 places were given to Kali Purusha says, sorry, I cannot find any of these situations I cannot expect this in your kingdom. So that is his glorious rule of King Parikshit. When that is happening, then Maharaj Parikshit says, okay, you can go to a place wherever there is excessive gold. So there is also a lot of explanation went through how the excessive gold brings pride, and with the pride, everything else, the whole fall down of the things. So Kali Purusha was happy and he leaves. And Parikshit Maharaj also, what he did was, as a qualified king he is, wherever there is excessive gold, he used the funds in the sacrifices to please Krishna, especially mentioned as Sankirtan Yajna. So through that, he is able to maintain a complete peace situation in the whole kingdom. So whole kingdom means he was the emperor of the whole earth planet. We see how all 7 continents in our earth. So he is emperor of all the 7 continents. And this was says Sutta Goswami. Actually, the whole story going back is Sutta Goswami is narrating all this to the sages of Naimisharanya. Sages of Naimisharanya asked about Maharaj Parikshit, and Sutta Goswami is telling about Maharaj Parikshit, his birth and in his activities. So he is telling to them, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, he is also son of Abhimanyu, also grandson of Arjuna. He was Arjuna and his wife Subhadra had son Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu marries Uttara, who is, there is no relation. She was the daughter of Uttara king, and their both of their son is Abhimanyu. So he's so experienced. We heard about, right, in the 12th chapter, he has numerous qualities even before the birth. And in addition to it, he is perfectly Krishna conscious. So much so, when he was in the womb of his mother, Krishna goes and gives his darshan. That's his capability. That's a devotional qualification as well of Maharaj Parikshit. So that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you, my dear sages of Naimisharanya, to perform a sacrifice, which is like they're doing 1,000-year sacrifice, such as this. And Prabhupada is explaining, it is very important. There should be a very good cooperation between the sannyasis, brahmanas, and the kshatriyas. This is very important because sannyasis and brahmanas, they're expert in spiritual advancement in society, and they need to be supported by kshatriyas. And when they're supported by kshatriyas and they give nice spiritual guidance to the kshatriyas, which will bring about a happy situation, to the rest of the society, led by Vaishyas and Shudras and everyone. And we also know that in Kali Yuga, that's what it's broken. Brahmanas no more are taken care by Kshatriyas, so much so then they have to take care of the basic necessities of food, living, shelter, and everything. And Kshatriyas, they no more hear Brahmanas. They just do on their own. So it's a perfect situation for Kali Purusha to penetrate into the lives of all the innocent people and bring about the situation of Kali Yuga very rampantly. Kali Yuga, the full life of the Kali Yuga is 432,000 years, 432,000 years. Out of that, only 5,000 years have been passed. Still more 427,000 years more is to come. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be, one reason, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is actually golden age. It is golden age. For one reason is that it's very dawning period of Kali Yuga. It just started 5,000 ratio to 432,000 is like pretty low, right? It's very, very beginning period. And more to it is Krishna, it's only been 5,000 years that Krishna has left the planet, and so many saints were present just recently. If you say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just 500 and maybe 530 years, something like that, by whose mercy we're all chanting Hare Krishna mantra whole worldwide. And then Prabhupada, who brought the Hare Krishna mantra, to the places which is impossible, which is to the whole world in all the countries. It just left the planet like a little more than 50 years, little more than 50 years, less than 50 years. Yeah, less than 50 years. So and his disciples are kindly, holding the responsibility and trying to make sure that Krishna consciousness is available as much as possible to everyone. So we are in the golden period. Considering all these situations, we are also need to cooperate. Cooperate meaning is the first level of cooperation is receiving the mercy from Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the devotees. Receive the message to the full and try to share it as much as possible. When that kind of cooperation is there, here we can note a couple of things here. The discussion seems to be going only between the king and the brahmanas, or the sannyasis, right? Kshatriyas and the sannyasis and brahmanas. But Prabhupada also makes a point, if the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. So we can say that, okay, we don't have a qualified leader. We may say like that, our government doesn't even have a God consciousness, what to speak of Krishna consciousness. We can say all those things, but we can also do our little part, taking responsibility, taking the role of a common man, and become receptive and become the carriers of the mercy. That's all. In our book distribution, we have this project called Go Masya project. What the project says is, the project to save the knowledge. The story goes is that Vyasadeva, he wrote many books, right? We know that he wrote all four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Samatara Vedas, and Mahabharata, and all the Puranas. And when he wrote the books, the amount of books he wrote was humongous, actually. You see a road in front of your house, it will fill up the whole road. We know that even actually took help of Ganesha to write some of the material, right? So much literature he wrote, it just was like 5,000 years back he wrote. And right now, the scholars say, we don't know where it is or what it is. They say only 6% is left, meaning that most of it was burned by people. Most of it was stolen. So they say only like 6%. Like if you have a 100-page book or 1,000-page book, imagine you only have 6% left. How much we get from it, right? We can get anything from it. We will not get anything. So, but luckily, under the instruction of Vyasadeva, under instruction of Narada Muni, Vyasadeva wrote this Bhagavad Purana. So the project Gomasi is that, we ask people to give a place in your home, inviting Srimad Bhagavatam in your home. Please give a place, say the Vedas. And also giving a place, preserving it, it's not only like you are helping say the Vedas, but it's going to be very, very auspicious to you. So we can take the similar inspiration from this verse. so many people are working for our welfare. Even the Naimisharanya sages, they were doing this 1,000-year sacrifice for the welfare of residents of this Kali Yuga, which is us. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada, everyone is doing they did a lot of sacrifice and followers of Prabhupada. So let's keep the fire up, being open and just wanting to like carry what they were giving to us. So if we can do it, then it will be great service for us and great fortune for us as well. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas for this common good. Even up to Maharaja Ashoka, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashoka, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. Yeah, and my thoughts are all going to how when Prabhupada started this movement, he didn't have any support. Actually, he got a negative support. People actually, when he started the movement in Jhansi, the common people actually, and the politician people also actually gave a negative support, basically took away the place he secured and everything. And Prabhupada persisted, depending on the instructions of his spiritual master and Krishna, and by whose mercy we are all having most good fortune actually. We cannot imagine how much we cannot fathom how much enjoyment we are having because of the great sacrifices of Srila Prabhupada. So I will hold myself here. Let's prepare the ground for the future by just carry it. That's all. Receive it and carry it. And it's going to be very magical. It's going to be, we are preserving. Prabhupada said, that this movement will go on for 10,000 years. So we have that option. We can have confidence, and by carrying it, we are, it's an expression of gratitude also, and it will be auspicious for us to go back to Krishna, to go back to the deathlessness situation, or Satchitananda situation, living eternal life full of knowledge and full of bliss. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a short one. Short one is also half an hour. Any quick thoughts, Prabhuji and Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, class. So, as that point, Prabhu, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, you also highlighted, it's not just the king. There could be a cooperation between the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, but actually it's the common people that need to also should be receptive, right? So, in this age, in the earlier ages, everything was like perfectly situated. The people were okay, and the king was good, and the Brahmanas were good. But now everything is not in order, right? So even the of course, leaving aside the king and the
that is to our advantage. Because of that situation, so many relief funds have been released for us. So many relief funds means, like, the offenses are not considered until one does it physically. That's one of the relief fund. And another fund is like Mahamantra. The Hare Krishna mantra we are all chanting, it is not actually available for, it's only available for most qualified people, but it's released, with no qualification, released to the people with no qualification. And, we are having Srimad Bhagavatam, we are having the association of great saints. The great saints, supposed to, Parshit Maharaj also says in the next chapter, when he meets Sukadeva Goswami, actually, you are to treat us like an untouchables, but you kindly come and to your mercy, like that, right? So great saints supposed to not to interact with the people so closely. We have that, right? We have a lot of release points, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yes.
Moreover to it, recently we had a Bhadra Purnima celebration. The thing is like, just, offer $250. That's all, even not even $50. And you gift a Srimad Bhagavatam, and the falastuti is that we're given the boarding pass. Imagine someone really looking for self-realization. Krishna himself says that out of thousands of people, someone aim for perfection. Out of thousands, really someone comes to know that Vasudev Sarvamiti. And I purposely didn't go into the cooperation between the Brahminical order and the Kshatriya order, because the hearts of the common people are already broken. Like they're, they're not in a position, we are not in a position to take up these high values. So we need to be happy and heal first. So by carrying the mercy, that will happen, and also the cooperation will also come. And even if that doesn't come, that is fine, because carrying the mercy of Guru and Krishna, these great sages, and the Lord, it has a lot of power, and that is going to set everything right.
If more and more common people take up the process, of course, as Prabhupada predicted, right, it is going to grow. In the current world, at least the kings or the so-called politicians have to follow the people, right? Hopefully it will change to some extent.
Yeah, one pure devotee has a power, right? Has a lot of power, right? I don't know the math, but I don't remember the exact quote. One pure devotee can bring benefit to many people. So, yeah.
Because even the verses is saying because of Maharaj Parikshit, who was not there, right, when it was even spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So because of him, because of his administration, they were able to perform the sacrifice even after his departure. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That's it, Prabhuji. Thank you.